Uh, so my name is Madam Jenkins, and I am a teacher here at Cowbridge. And I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction to the department, to learning languages in Cowbridge. I've got some very helpful helpers with me here today as well, all socially distanced, so they can keep their masks off. Luckily, just got one more person joining there. Hello. Okay. So I'm going to be telling you a bit about today. I've shared a screen with you, so hopefully you can see that as your main screen, okay? I'm not sure, I don't think you need to pin it to the screen or anything, but if you do, please do. If you have any issues throughout, if maybe if I sort of go a bit fuzzy, or if it freezes or something, or if there's any issues, you're welcome to put something into the chat. So I've got that up on the screen so I can see that as well if there are any issues. Okay. So then, as I said, in this session, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the department, about the languages department at Cowbridge. We're going to hear from some Year 7 pupils, here they are, and some other students as well that I've asked their opinions for. We're going to do a quick quiz about France and all things French speaking. And then there will be a chance at the end for you to type some questions into the chat. So if you're in a classroom, you may want to sort of let your teacher know and they can type for you. And if you're at home and you've got a question about languages next year, at the end, there will be a chance when I can actually sort of hopefully address some of your questions. And if I can't, maybe some of the pupils here can do that. Okay, so Cowbridge MFL department. MFL is Modern Foreign Languages, okay, which in our school is French and German. It is found in B block in Cowbridge. So if you look at the picture there, you can see there's A block on the left. It's actually just the end of A block, really. So if you were facing the entrance to A block, we're to the right of there, and we're called B block. Okay, and we are upstairs in that building, so all of the language teachers teach upstairs, and actually downstairs is Welsh, so you'll know when you're going over to B block for your lessons that you've got French or you're Welsh, you're going to be doing a language there. Okay, and so yeah, so as I said, we're upstairs. That's what the entrance to B block looks like. And it's nice, it's a lovely building, we're all very friendly here, so if you ever get lost or anything, you're always welcome to come and ask us for some help. We're always happy to help. Okay, and so in the department then, there are 4 of us who teach languages. We have Madam Thomas, who is the head of the MFL department, of the languages department, and Madam Thomas teaches French here. She's actually lived in Paris and also in Bordeaux, which is known for its lovely wines. We also have Monsieur Ling, who teaches French as well. Monsieur Ling is also the assistant head teacher, so you may or may not have seen him in sort of introductory videos already, and you may well see him around the school as well as in B block next year. So Monsieur Ling has spent some time living in La Vendée, which is a lovely area. It's known for its really sandy beaches. It's beautiful. We also have Madame Goncelin, who is actually French. So we're very lucky in this department to have a French-speaking member of staff whose first language was French, because the rest of us all had to learn languages just like you will be in secondary school. But Madame Goncelin actually grew up speaking French. And she is from Chamonix, which is a lovely mountainous area in the east of France. And it is very well known for its skiing. So if any of you have been skiing, you might have been somewhere close to Chamonix, or maybe even to Chamonix. And that's where Madame Goncelin is from. And then there's me, so you can see me here as well. My name is Madam Jenkins, and I teach French and German in the school. And so I have lived in Saint-Sébastien-sur-Loire, which is a tiny little town, not far from where Mr. Lin lived, actually, in the west of France, which is close to a city called Nantes. And I've also lived in Germany, because I teach German as well. And I've lived in Berlin in Germany, which is known for its lovely attractions like the Brandenburg Gate. And Germany in itself really is known for Haribo, because they are the land that made Haribo. So we've got lots to thank them for. Okay, so when you start in Cambridge Comprehensive School, all pupils in Year 7 will get to learn French. So that is the language that we all start off with. Okay, and so you'll all be with your forms to learn French, and you will have 3 lessons per fortnight. So that might be 2 lessons in 1 week and then 1 lesson in the next week, but you'll have it from your timetable. So you'll know exactly when you have this, and you'll see which teacher you've got as well when you get your timetables. And in the lessons, we learn about the language and the culture, and we try and make it as fun as possible. We try and do lots of games and interactive activities because we're all really excited to be able to teach you all languages. It's such an important thing to be able to learn different foreign languages so that we can broaden our horizons and we can experience new things. And so hopefully you'll have a really lovely time when you're here because we're all really looking forward to meeting you. Okay, so next year when you start your French lessons, you will get a booklet, an A4 size booklet, and that's where most of your activities are, most of your classwork. And you'll also have an exercise book, and you'll get to take those home with you after between lessons. And you'll need to make sure you bring them with you to every lesson. But we'll run through that in September, so there's no need to worry about it now. But that's what your content will look like. Okay. Hi, I think we've got a late starter there. Hi, I've just been running through the department in Cowbridge and everything else. So just to let you know, I'm Madam Jenkins and I teach French at Cowbridge. Okay. So I've asked some of my year sevens what they think and what advice they'd like to give you because they were in your situation last year. And I've had some quite interesting points, and I've got the actual human year sevens behind me are going to give some. Sorry, I'm going to give some viewpoints and bits of advice in a few minutes as well. Okay, so this is what some of them have said. We've had French gives you the chance to learn a new language, and it's fun, which is good. So they said it, so it must be true. Don't be afraid to pronounce words in French. Just give it a go. Okay, so that's quite an interesting one, I suppose, because sometimes French can be quite. Do you find it embarrassing to pronounce sometimes? You feel? Oh, they're all okay with it. But sometimes it can. But it's good to just throw yourself in there, and we're all very supportive. We won't kind of, be rude or make fun of you if you try something and you get it wrong. It's just great to try. Okay. Don't forget to revise for tests. Do you agree with that one as well? Yeah, I agree with that one. We all have things like vocabulary tests, which are like spelling tests, really, but in a foreign language. So you'll have those fairly regularly. So it's good to try and learn for them so that you're kind of keeping up with the work. But we'll go through that in September as well. So don't worry. French is fun, so don't worry. So that's handy. If you do well in French and Welsh, you get to do German, and it sounds really funny. So that's from a year 7 pupil who's not actually started learning German yet. But we do offer a second foreign language in the school. And actually, we're kind of few and far between now as secondary schools go that offer 2 languages. So you're all really lucky that we have that in the school. And it's about half of the year group that will, when they're in year 8, will get to learn German as well. Someone else has said, actually, try the Duolingo app for French before you start because it will help. So there's an app, and it's called Duolingo, and it looks great. I mean, I think I tried it a few years ago, and I must have got distracted, but I think I'm going to try it this summer. I might even try and learn Welsh on it this summer so I can surprise the Welsh department in September. So if you wanted to, if you've got a tablet or something at home, that you could download this app. It might be a nice idea to try it. Do any of you do Duolingo? Sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there are other websites that we'll tell you about as well, but I think Duolingo is quite good for your own kind of language journey. I think it can be quite nice. And they've got all sorts of wonderful languages there. I think a few of my GCSE students actually were learning Latin this year. So you could branch out and do some really exciting languages if you wanted to. Someone else has said, try to do the accent, it makes it easier. Okay. And someone else has said, French isn't hard if you try hard. So I suppose, hopefully that's reassuring that, if you're trying hard and you're working hard in lessons, that's kind of all we want to see, really. And I know that there'll be some pupils who are here today who have had some extra French lessons. You might have had them in primary school. You might have had private lessons and things like that. And that's brilliant, and we can cater for you. We can give you some extra tricky tasks and things like that. And if you've never had a lesson of French before, just going to admit someone else a bit late. Sorry, hi. If you've never had any French before, that's absolutely fine. We start off from zero, so there's absolutely nothing to worry about at all. If you know no French words, it'll be okay. Okay, so that's what the year 7 said when I asked them the other day. I'm going to just hand you over to my lovely, helpful friends behind me, who are going to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about learning French. Okay, over to you, 7-5.
Bonjour, I'm Isabel Morgan and I'm from Pendoylen Primary School. And when you join secondary school, you'll feel very welcome and you'll enjoy it a lot, as long as you try hard, interact, and be mature.
And stuff. So I'm hoping that you can all hear okay, because I don't know how wonderful my microphone is on my computer. If you could all just be super loud, that'd be brilliant. Okay, excellent. Over to you, Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin and I'm from St. Nicholas, and don't be worried to start learning any languages because all the teachers go at a really steady pace, which is easy to follow. And don't be afraid to ask for any help because they're all welcome and will always be welcome to help.
And Evan.
Hi, my name is Evan Davis and I'm from Shangan Primary School. If there's one thing about French that I absolutely love, is that the teachers are amazing. And then there's this really good language learning app called Look It. And they generally play it once a lesson and it's really fun and it really helps with skills a lot.
Excellent. I haven't asked them to say this, by the way. I promise. I'm not paying you or bribing you in any way, am I? I promise. Okay. Sorry, back to Sophia.
Hi, my name is Sophia Terry and I'm from Pendleton Primary School. French is really fun. Just remember to work hard and enjoy yourself and don't worry, we'll see you soon.
Excellent stuff. So you will have a chance, as I said, to ask some questions at the end. So if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask these guys who've all been here for a year, so they've had quite a lot of experience about it, then you can do then. Okay, so I'm just resharing. Okay, I'm just going to reshare my PowerPoint with you. Okay, so I asked some older pupils as well who are in the later years in the comp to ask, it says, if they had any advice for you. And they gave some interesting bits of advice. So they said, learning a language is great because it helps you get into a good university and get a really good job. So you're probably not thinking about that right now. You're probably mainly thinking about all the fun leavers activities you've got going on this year and for the next few weeks and so on. But it is always good to think about your future and think about the things that we can use languages for, and it has so many uses, not just being a language teacher like me. There are all sorts of weird and wonderful jobs out there for people who've got an extra language. So someone else has said language lessons are very fun and exciting, so that's good to know. A bit of advice from someone as well. They said, don't use Google Translate, it's often wrong. And do you remember, have I ever shown you that video? But yeah, actually, there's a video on YouTube that shows you just how wrong it can go when you use Google Translate. So we'll go through that again in September, so it's absolutely fine. But it's some advice from an older people who's obviously learned from it. And also, someone said languages get more fun every year, so stick with them. So actually, year 7, that's probably quite handy for you to know. It gets more fun every single year. Okay, so I've got some French words on the screen. If you just want to have a look at them, I'm going to give you a minute or so to look through these, and can you tell me what they are? They're all French words. Some of them you might know, some of them you might be able to recognize. I may have sneakily shown you a picture by mistake earlier on. There's one word in here that is actually similar to a Welsh word that you may or may not know. So have a look through them. If you're in a classroom, you can just talk them through as a class if you want to, or if you've got some paper, you can jot down your answers. And if you're tuning in from home, you can, if you've got some paper and a pen, you can quickly jot them down, or you can just do them in your head. That's fine. I'll give you a minute. Can you have a look these out? I'll go through them in just over a minute. Let's see, I'll put them on the big screen, shall I? Yeah. Oh, I've just shown you all the pictures. You reckon I don't say them? You reckon? Can you work out that? It's linked to a Welsh word.
I feel like it's glazed off the donut or something. It looks like it.
A glaze, yeah, definitely. You know what it might be? No.
It's similar to egg.
It's the same style as that. It's not
Like, it sounds like the Champs-Elysees.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's got a similar kind of feel for it, isn't it? Okay, I think we'll go through them in maybe 15 seconds. These guys here can't work out one of them, so if you're finding them hard, don't worry. So I'm sorry. Okay then, so if we run through them, unfortunately, because your cameras are all off and your microphones are off, you can't sort of put your hand up and answer. If we were doing a live lesson, which we had to do during lockdown, which is actually quite fun, quite fun, then usually people can kind of unmute themselves and say the answer, but unfortunately, because it's being recorded, we just can't do that now. So that first word, croissant, do you guys know what it is? I mean, it's the same word. It's the same word. And you'll find that with French, there are lots of words that we use already. We've kind of borrowed a few of the, certainly food items, but lots of other words, they'll be exactly the same. Often, these words will look similar to English, but we pronounce them really differently. So they have a very different accent. And so if I were to say them to you and you couldn't see them written down, you might think, what? I don't know that word. But then when you see them, they aren't that difficult. They aren't that dissimilar. Okay, so le weekend, what could it be? Oh yeah, we've got it, well done. It's the weekend, so same word. Then we have mes parents, so it sounds different when you say it, but it looks very similar. What's that, Evan?
Parents.
Yes, parents, well done. Then we've got orange. I wonder what orange could be. It's orange, yeah. Then we have chocolat. It's chocolate. Parfum, which is perfume. Sometimes they're actually called parfum on them as well, so hopefully you've all seen that word before. Bonbon. What's a bonbon? What kind of thing is it?
Sweet.
It's a sweet, yeah, so a bonbon is a sweet. La gymnastique. Gymnastics, fantastic. Le collège, this might be a tricky one. Le collège.
Is it either college or college?
Well, so le collège is actually the word for school. So it's kind of similar. It's a bit like college, I suppose. So that is one that you might find a little bit tricky. And this next one, église, I'm guessing if we've got Yola, if we've got the school from the class from Yola here, then I'm guessing you might be able to work this one out. So église is very similar to the word eglwys in Welsh, which is the word for a church. So there are lots of similarities between French and Welsh, and that's why it's wonderful that you've all been learning Welsh right back from when you were, in nursery. So there are lots of similarities we can make. And finally, we have rouge. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Rouge? Yeah. So if you've learnt colours in school, then you'll know that one. If not, you might find it a bit tricky, but that's fine. Don't worry. We're going to learn lots of these kind of topics when you start in September. Okay, so we've got a quick quiz. So I don't mind how you want to do this. I'll leave it if you're in a classroom. Oh, fantastic. That's excellent. Lovely stuff. So I'm just seeing that from the chat. That's really great. So if you want to, you can write your answers down. If you're in a class, you could just, you could write down one answer or just talk about them. That's absolutely fine. There are 8 questions and they're all about France or French or all things to do with French, really. Okay. So my lovely helper's going to read out some of the questions when I actually let them see them. Okay. So question 1.
How many people live in France?
So is it nearly 70,000? Is it nearly 70 million? Or is it nearly 70 billion? That's quite a lot, isn't it? Okay, so that's question 1. And if you've chosen your answer there, we can carry on. So question 2.
Which of these is an attraction in France?
So is it Mont Saint-Michel? Is it the Seville Cathedral? Or is it the Colosseum? So is it A, B, or C? And question 3.
How many people speak French worldwide?
Okay, so is it 270? Is it 27 million or 270 million? Question 4.
What is hello in French?
Is it hola? Is it buongiorno? Or is it bonjour? Who's doing question 5? It's Evan, isn't it? You ready? Let's move over to you there. And question 5.
Which of these brands is not French?
Okay, so is it Tresemme shampoo? Is it L'Oreal? Or is it Chanel? They all sound a bit French, don't they? So that's a bit of a tricky question. So it's question 5. We've got 3 questions left. Okay, excellent stuff. And question 6.
Which footballer was not on the France Euro 2020 squad?
Okay, so if you're a football fan, you'll hopefully know this question. 2 of them play for France and 1 plays for Germany, I believe. I'm not going to give away any answers for mine now, but fine. Okay, and on to question 7.
Because of its shape, France is sometimes given a nickname. Which shape is it based on?
So I'm being a bit tricky here because I'm not actually going to show you what France looks like. So I showed you the map at the start of the lesson. So see if you can think about, does it look like a star? Is it a hexagon shape or is it a square shape? It's kind of like another name for the country. And so, yeah, just guess whether it's A, B or C if you're not sure. All right then. And for the last question,
Which of these is a French car manufacturer?
so if you're interested in cars, hopefully you'll know this one. If not, have a think about which one might sound the most French. Okay, so it's either A, Fiat, B, Audi, or C, Peugeot. I might have just given that away by saying it. I did. Okie dokes. So hopefully you've all got an answer for all of those. And we're going to run through the answers now. You guys okay to read out the answers to your own questions? Is that okay? Fantastic. Okay. So question 1, how many people live in France? The answer was...
Nearly 70 million.
Excellent. So it's B. So nearly 70 million people live in France. It's quite a lot. Big country, a lot bigger than Wales. And question 2, which of these is an attraction in France? Go on, Isabel, can you wow us with your French accent?
Mont Saint-Michel.
Listen to that, just had French for a year and you sound fluent. It's brilliant. We've got Mont Saint-Michel is the answer for that one. It's actually in kind of the north of France, and it's a lovely place. You kind of can climb up onto the actual kind of mountain, and there's lots of things at the top, and there's some shops and things. It's a really nice place. Question 3, how many people speak French worldwide?
It's C, 270 million.
Excellent. So yeah, so 270 million people. So that's a lot of the world, isn't it? That is. It's a huge number. What is hello in French?
It's C, bonjour.
So glad you knew that one, Erin. That would have been really embarrassing otherwise. That's the first thing we learn in year 7. Excellent. Yeah, it is bonjour. And the next one, which of these brands is not French, Evan?
It's a Tresemme shampoo.
It is. It's Tresemme shampoo. It's actually an American company, but they made it look French, and I wonder why that is. I wonder maybe that's because French is really well known for lots of beauty kind of products. So if it sounds a bit French, maybe people might think, oh, that must be really good. It must be like L'Oréal. That must be like some other really good brands. Maybe that's it. Because France is actually really well known for lots of, excellent things that they've created. Lots of things to do with fashion and beauty and all sorts of things. So they are kind of very well known throughout the world for lots of things that they produce and export. Okay, so yeah, that's Tresemme shampoo. Question 6.
It was actually C, Antonio
Rudiger? Yeah, Rudiger. Well done. So yeah, he plays for Germany. Did you know that without even?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you knew that. Yeah, I also knew that. Yeah. Question 7. Because of its shape, France is sometimes given a nickname. This was a really mean question to give you without France there. Do you guys know what this answer is? It is actually a hexagon. I personally think it could look like more of a star. But the answer is actually B. It's a hexagon. So the French actually kind of refer to their country as l'hexagone. So if they're talking about kind of the country as a whole, they might say France, la France, or France, or they might just say l'hexagone. So it's quite a good thing for you all to know. And question 8. I think I gave this one away, didn't I, anyway? But what's the answer, Sophia?
It's C.
Excellent. It's Peugeot. So there we are. So we've got our 8 questions. I'm intrigued to know how you've all done. If you want to pop your total that you had in the chat, that'd be brilliant. So you can see if anyone managed to get 8 out of 8. Or maybe you might have been close. Fantastic. Wow. That's really good. Yeah, we've a few people with 8 out of 8. That's really good. Excellent, lovely. Okay, so some of you probably were like, I know exactly all about this. And so for some of you, they may have been really strange questions. And don't worry either way, it's absolutely fine. We're going to start, as I said, from scratch next year. Excellent. 66 out of 8. Wow, I mean, that's impressive. I'm guessing you mean 6 out of 8. But still, excellent stuff. Okay, hi there, hi. I can see it's, yeah, be okay to turn your camera off. Oh, thank you, that's brilliant. Okay. Excellent. Wow, so we've had some really good marks there. I'm really impressed. Okay, fantastic. So do you have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing the screen with you now so that you can actually see us a bit better, hopefully. If you need to pin us to the screen, you can. Shall I pin you all to the screen? There you are, you're pinned. Okay, I might even do on a big screen there. Okay. So, oh, you can't see everyone. Sorry, everyone. Do you have any questions? If you do, if you could type some into the chat, that would be brilliant. And then we'll do our best to answer. Hope but between us all, we'll be able to answer them. Should be. What does ça va mean? Oh, that's a good question. What does ça va mean? Do we know?
I'm not
It's
It's
kind of like you okay, and you can ask us a question like you okay, I'm okay. It's
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
It's pretty cool. It's a question and an answer, actually. So you can kind of say ça va, is how, you know, literally, is it going? That goes. And then you can answer it by saying ça va. So it's like the laziest question and answer in the world. So I'm thinking more about questions about French next year, and if you've got questions about, you know, starting French in Cowbridge, if there's anything that you're not sure about or anything that I can answer, then please do let me know. So someone's asked what anglais, I'm guessing that's anglais. So anglais means English. We've got another one there. Will we cover French foods? We do cover French foods. You haven't done it yet, have you? We do it in year 8. We do a really nice topic actually called au café, in the cafe. And you do lots of kind of, you know, you practice ordering things, and we usually end up having some kind of French breakfast as well. Oh.
I'd like to answer.
Isabel's got a question as well. Okay, all right, yes.
Do French students go to Normandy in year 7? Or is that...
Oh, school trip question. Okay, well, so some of you might be wondering about this yourselves at home. Yeah, you know, there's one right there actually, Isabel, so you were very on topic. We usually do have lots of school trips. We're really lucky in the school that we get to do an exchange with a French school when you're in year 9. And it's fantastic. It's really, really fun. It's a brilliant experience for about 30 pupils who you know, opt to do that. And they actually go and stay with the family in France, and they come over here as well. And it's really brilliant. And we also, you know, we do have some other trips that we regularly do. So for year 7, there's a trip. And well, there's various other points as well. If you're in the 6th form, there's a chance to go to Paris as well. But unfortunately, because of coronavirus, they were all cancelled last year, obviously, and so it meant that they're all kind of on pause for now. So I'm certainly not expecting them to be up and running next year, but I'm going to keep everything crossed that we can go on a school trip as soon as we can. So hopefully at some point in your time at Cowbridge, we will get to go on some school trips as soon as we're allowed. I promise that we'll all work really hard to take you. Oh, excellent. Sorry. So I think Yola have gone for a break. Let's have a look. Will we get to play traditional French games? Well, like pool. That's kind of interesting. Possibly. That might be something we could look into. Someone's asked if they're working in a book. Yeah, you'll be working in your booklet and also in an exercise book as well. Do we cover fun topics in our French lessons? Are they fun?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, they think it's fun. So that must be true. Do we have to speak French during every lesson? Do you have to speak French during every lesson?
Only
When you're
on
learning it, yeah. Like when you're asking questions and speaking.
Yeah, we do try and give a few classroom instructions in French, but we always make sure that they're really clear. So hopefully you'll kind of be okay with that one. How many French school trips do you go on in a year? Well, there are 3 school trips for French throughout the 7 years that you'll be at Cowbridge, or 5 or 7. And so yeah, it's in year 7, year 9, and year 12 and 13. Will you learn about the weather in year 7? Not at the moment, no. I'm trying to think when we learn about the weather. Maybe it's in year 9, I think it is. Will you be our teacher? Well, I might be your teacher. You're going to have, if you were here for the start when I introduced all the different teachers, there are 4 different teachers. So I know I've got a few classes in year 7. What are you saying as well? They're all nice. They are. We are all really nice, I promise. And we're just really excited that you're coming here so that we can start teaching you. Any other questions? Do you have to make models and say them in French? Ooh, we do actually. Did you guys? No, you wouldn't have got to do it. We do sometimes do some fun activities with spaghetti and marshmallows, and you've got to build the Eiffel Tower. We should do that. Yeah. Oh, yes, you would have done it on French as well. Yeah. So we do some things like that. We try and make it as fun for you as possible. Will the teachers be the same in year 7 and 8? Not necessarily. No. So it does kind of vary from year to year, and it changes. We change the groupings of them as well going into year 8. So not really. Let's have a look. Is there a date and learning objective? Will we write them in French? If so, good question. You will write the date in French. I will always share the learning objective with you, but it won't be written on the board, so you won't need to write that down. That's fine. It's pretty much in your booklets anyway, so that's fine. Any other questions? Do we write the date? We'll be working a book. I think I've answered that one. Oh, got some more questions. Do we need a French dictionary? Oh, really good question. Do you have a French dictionary? Okay. Okay. So, when I was in school, yes, we all had to have French dictionaries, and I learned German as well, so German dictionaries. But actually, nowadays, we tend to use online dictionaries. So we will be showing you how to use an online dictionary during year 7. And actually, well, you guys got to learn it at home, didn't you? And you had do you remember the treasure hunt lesson? So that's how you. Okay. So yeah, so we'll teach you how to learn to use an online dictionary and how to use the correct kind of one. Because we've already said about Google Translate not being the best, but there are some really good ones out there. So we'll cover that in year 7, I promise. If we do German, will we go on German trips? Yeah, just like with French, we were all ready last year to go on a trip for the year 8s to a really fun school trip. But as I said, it was cancelled. But the moment that we are allowed, because there are all sorts of rules and regulations that mean that it wouldn't be sensible for us to plan a school trip for next year, as I'm sure you can all understand, because I'm sure lots of you will have had holidays that have been cancelled or plans, or maybe even school trips as well. So someone's asked, when you start learning German, do you still carry on learning French? Yes, you do. So we add it on, and so it's for about half of the year group, and you will get more information about this next year, honestly. So, it's about half the year group that gets to learn German, and it's pretty much kind of those that are working really well in the French and Welsh, and that we think are able to pick up another language, will get to learn the German there. Will you help us pronounce a word if we are stuck? Of course, I promise to help you pronounce all the words if you're stuck. Absolutely. Are there sets in French? Not in year 7, no. In year 7, you're going to be with your form, which is quite nice because you can get to know them and you'll know them a bit already. So, you'll be with your form in year 7. And then we do put you into different groupings in year 8. We do that. I'm trying to think if I've missed any other questions. Do we do Spanish? Someone's asked. We don't do Spanish, but French is actually very similar to Spanish. So I did a Spanish class a few years ago, and actually I was able to understand a lot of what was going on because I learned French. So we try and give you in this school, we try and give you a really good grounding in languages. So you learn French, and you also then, half of you will learn German. So you're learning one Latin-based language, and you're learning another Germanic language. And then hopefully that will give you the best opportunities when you're a bit older. Do you learn French all the way through comprehensive school? Sorry guys, you're not actually asking any questions right now. You must be quite bored there. You'll certainly learn it for the first 2 years, and then you can make some options, but we'll get to that when you're here, I promise. So you'll be doing at least 2 years of it, but hopefully more, because it's such a good language. Yeah, it's a really good subject. Yeah. Oh, good. Excellent. How long are the French lessons? So you'll have you'll have, as I said, 2 lessons in 1 week and 1 lesson in the next week. So you'll have 3 lessons a fortnight, and they each last for an hour. Is speaking French hard? Is it hard?
It's not hard if you have to
As long as you try hard, then
Okay.
you'll be able to do it just fine.
Okay, so as long as you try hard, yeah. And I think I found that when I was in school as well. I found when I was learning French, I was a bit embarrassed at first to say to sort of say in a different accent. But I think the best thing is if you can try and overcome that and know that you're in a really safe space, and no one in your form is going to laugh at you, or be rude if you get something wrong. That's what we really find really important. Are there French tests? Yeah, there will be some French tests. You'll have some vocabulary tests every month or so, I suppose. And you will. How many assessments have you done this year? You've done 3, haven't you? You normally do 3 or 4 in a year.
They're
Yeah.
really easy if you revise.
Oh, they're really easy if you
are
revise, which is good. Maybe I need to make them a bit harder, Evan. Maybe that's a sign.
No, they're really hard actually. They're so
Oh.
hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
Great. Is writing French down hard? Well, we're here to try and make it as easy for you as possible. So a few people have asked, is it difficult? Is it hard? It's our job to try and make this as tempting for you as it possibly can be. So, hopefully not. Will you read French books? Ooh, you do read a French book when you're doing A level, which is pretty exciting. You get to read a book called Kif Kif Demain. We don't actually do other sort of reading books, but I sometimes do put in extracts from different books. So there's a story called The Little French, which is a French written book that sometimes we can. Little Prince, sorry, and that we put in some excerpts from that and things like that. Is there a French club? Oh, there was a French club. Because of coronavirus, it's had to kind of be knocked on the head for a while. But we do have a French film club, or it's a languages film club. So we watch a little snippet of a film at lunchtime, so once a week. And it was always quite popular actually. So if some of you have got older siblings, you might have they might be able to tell you about it if they came to French Film Club. Okay, all right. So unless there are any more questions, is there anything else that you think I've forgotten to say or that they might like to know about?
Keep organised.
Ooh, keep organised. That's helpful. But
Be prepared.
be prepared.
If you don't complete homework, it's not the end of the world, but try and complete it.
Oh, I don't know, Evan, I think. Yeah, okay, all right.
You really should complete it.
Yeah, so just I suppose if you're sitting there and you're feeling a bit nervous about September, you guys were all really nervous last year, I'm guessing, weren't you? Yeah, we've talked about that. So if you've got older siblings, they might already know about it. But if you're the first from your family coming to the comp, please don't worry about it, and please just know that we're all ready for you. We're all excited to teach you, and we're going to try and make sure that you have the best experience that you possibly can do. Certainly in French, but for everything else. Is there lots of homework? There's not lots of homework. It's not that bad. Is it? Well, I'm saying that it might be bad for you guys.
Well, we have like one piece of homework. I think we've had 3 pieces of homework throughout the entire year.
That's true. You're quite lucky because when we were in lockdown, I didn't give out homework because we were doing all the live lessons. So yeah, so you've actually been quite lucky. There's not a huge amount of homework, and it's usually we try and make it as fun as possible. So do you remember that time you had to watch an episode of Peppa Pig?
Oh, yeah.
In French. That was, and they just had some homework actually. Did anyone want to explain their homework?
We had to find like an extract from like a book or websites, and we have to locate words in French and translate them. So
Yeah. So what did you guys do? This is very funny.
I did Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Nice. That's my favourite. That's a good one. Okay, excellent. What did you do, Isabel?
Vogue French, the French Vogue.
French folks. Yeah. So we try and give you lots of opportunities to really explore your own interests, because that's the best way to learn a language, is by kind of looking at something that you find interesting. So whether that is cars or beauty or some different literature, it can be really, really helpful. Oh, sorry, can you repeat as you're closer to the mic? Is that me you want me to repeat? Is it one of you? So we had one person that looked at Harry Potter in French, and another person that looked at Vogue, in case you couldn't hear that. And Evan, what did you do for your homework?
I looked at different art things.
Oh,
like
nice.
Chanel and stuff.
Oh, lovely. I'm looking forward to marking these. And Sophia, what did you do?
I did Chanel, and I found an article on Coco Chanel.
Oh, excellent. Okay, wow, so I get to read all these later on. I'm quite lucky. Okay, so I think we're going to leave it here, because I hope we haven't talked through all of your break times. I'm hoping you'll get a little bit of a break if you are in school. I hope you're not sitting there thinking, oh, we're stuck in the classroom. Do you have to do homework every day? Oh gosh, I don't think it's every day. Certainly not every day. Certainly not for French. You might have one piece and so on. And yes, I've had one more question about Coco Chanel. You could definitely, there's a chance for you to learn about those kind of things. Okay. So we're going to wrap this up here then. I hope you found it helpful. I'm sorry that you couldn't all join with your cameras on and your mics on. That would have been much more fun to have an interactive lesson. But as there's so many of you joining from different places, it would have been a bit of a minefield. Okay, thanks everyone. Au revoir.